For a single month in 1989, SNL had a writer and featured cast member named Ben Stiller. It was a very brief run, but Stiller, it turns out, has gone on to make something of himself in the world of comedy. It seems everyone has a favorite Ben Stiller movie. There's Something About Mary, Meet the Parents, Zoolander, Royal Tenenbaums, Night at the Museum, Tropic Thunder, just to name a few. Stiller's latest project, though, is behind the camera and decidedly not a comedy. He directs the riveting Showtime series Escape at Dannemora. It's the real-life story that captivated the country in 2015 when two inmates escaped the Clinton Correctional Facility in upstate New York with the help of a prison employee. Ben and I got together over coffee here in New York for a Sunday Sitdown.
Thanks for doing this, Ben.
Yeah.
This is great.
It's how I like to do it. Have a little cappuccino, talk about Prison Break.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's talk about the Prison Break. Did you follow it when it was happening in real time?
I actually didn't follow it because I was out of the country and I knew nothing, so I read the script and I was fascinated. And at that point, they didn't know that much about what had happened.
So Stiller went to find out. He visited the prison in Dannemora, New York, and interviewed guards there. He also sat down across from David Sweat, one of the two inmates who escaped and led law enforcement on a 3-week chase through the Adirondacks.
He was very affable. He said, "What do you want to know?" And hearing his perspective on the relationship that he had with Richard Matt was really, really helpful because these two guys came together in prison, and when they actually got out there on the run together, things sort of changed.
What did Sweat say about those 23 days when the world was looking for him?
When you read the transcripts of his interviews from the police right after he was captured, he was very dismissive of Matt. He said that he was fat and when they were going through the steam pipe, that he got stuck. But when I talked to him a few years later, he actually seemed to have really warm memories about their time on the run.
They're both, in case people know, brutal murderers, which is why they're in Clinton to begin with.
Yeah, they both committed heinous crimes, and I think that's an important part of telling the story too, is just to understand that these guys actually, were not these sort of anti-heroes. And it's hard because when you tell a prison escape story, you're going to identify with those guys trying to get out.
Shot partially on location, Escape at Dannemora stars Benicio del Toro and Paul Dano as the inmates, and a nearly unrecognizable Patricia Arquette as Joyce Tilly Mitchell, the supervisor who helped the men escape as part of a strange triangle of prison romance.
So when you're casting the series, does Patricia Arquette jump to mind immediately? Because when you see her in that first frame, your first reaction is that really Patricia Arquette?
The only thing I thought was she's really going to have to disappear into this person so that we're not seeing, the Patricia that we're used to seeing. And she was willing to do that.
The 53-year-old Stiller has been directing since he was a kid growing up in New York City with his parents, the comic legends Jerry Stiller and Ann Mira. At age 10, Ben's father gave him his first camera, and Stiller began to make movies with his older sister, Amy.
So these were like serious shoots. You had setups and planning and all with your sister.
I don't know how serious the shoots were. There were setups. We
you
kind
took
of go
them
out.
seriously.
Yeah. In the 70s was a little edgier in New York, and you could get roughed up by neighborhood kids, and there were a lot of sort of death wish, revenge fantasy type movies where I would get mugged by a kid, and then we go into the park and find the kid and then beat the hell out of him.
Wow.
His films weren't all quite so dark. In 1987, 21-year-old Stiller made a spoof of the Martin Scorsese movie The Color of Money called The Hustler of Money.
His hair was perfect.
It caught the attention of Saturday Night Live creator Lorne Michaels, who put the short on SNL. 2 years later, Stiller earned a job with the show.
John, have you ever done stand-up?
No, just accounting.
In the early, uncertain days of his career, Stiller worked extra jobs to pay the rent.
I was a busboy, and not a good one, a little clumsy sometimes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Made some drops.
And I was also interested in people's conversations.
You were one of those busboys?
Yeah, I was totally one of those. You do the ashtray swap out, which was you take the ashtray, the clean one on top, and then there's the dirty one. And I just remember Dudley Moore was sitting at a table talking to somebody, and I came in for the ashtray swap, and I started listening to what he was saying. And I sort of stopped in the middle of my ashtray swap, and then he kind of looked at me and went, and I was like, kind of food. And I totally was like busted by Dudley Moore.
In 1990, Stiller signed on with MTV to write and star in The Ben Stiller Show, a mix of comedy sketches and parodies. It was canceled after one season, but Fox picked it up for a second. It was canceled again and became a cult classic.
We won an Emmy 9 months after we were canceled.
Right, which is crazy, but was a critical darling and remains so today. Did it feel like a success to you, or did it feel like, wow, we got canceled?
No, it actually felt like a success because it took us so long to get on the air.
I deserve another shot here. Well, hi, Elena.
Stiller's major movie debut came in Reality Bites, the 1994 romantic comedy also directed by Stiller that came to define Generation X.
I got it stuck. Oh, Christ.
But it was a 1998 starring role in the wild blockbuster comedy There's Something About Mary that first showed Stiller could be a big box office draw.
All of a sudden, people were offering movies as an actor. It became a different experience, which I don't think was necessarily altogether positive. Up to that point, it was a little bit looser, I think, for me, because I wasn't aware of how well a movie did or didn't do.
Over the next 10 years, Stiller starred in some of the most successful comedy franchises in the history of Hollywood.
China?
Meet the Parents.
Have you ever watched pornographic videos?
No.
Madagascar.
This is better than steak.
And Night at the Museum.
I have an 11-year-old and a 9-year-old, and when they see you in this interview on my show, because I forced them to watch my show against their will, they'll say, oh, Night at the Museum.
Right. Night at the Museum is probably the only movie that my son has watched that I'm in.
Really?
Yeah, maybe a little bit of Dodgeball.
Oh, you got to show him Zoolander.
I tend to try not to force my children to watch my movies. Just as a parenting technique, I feel, just for down the line.
Weird if you did.
Yeah.
It's probably wise parenting. Escape from Dannemora was nominated this week for a Golden Globe Award as Best Television Limited Series or Movie. And the show is airing now on Showtime with a new episode tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern and Pacific. Our thanks to Zabetto Espresso Bar for hosting us. To hear about a side of Ben Stiller you may not know as the young member of a punk rock band, check out our web extras at today.com/Sunday. And don't forget to subscribe to the Sunday Sitdown podcast to hear the entire unedited interview with Ben Stiller. You can find it on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get yours.